Qualify the Podcast Season 2. I am your host, Hassan. Today is a business podcast. With me, I have three distinguished gentlemen to discuss a business app that, quite honestly, is unique. We have Quinton Ross, Marcus Evans, and Anthony Hawthorne. And these gentlemen have the InPrep app. Gentlemen, how are you?
Fine. How about you?
Doing well. We connected initially through social media, just mainly through my podcast. What I try to do is to make sure that I'm kind of always looking into areas of focus, which are generally primarily travel, business, Black business also. It's just, primary interest, as well as looking for voices and or areas that aren't generally highlighted. However, when I did start following, I thought it was very interesting to be curious and get more research about what InPrep was. And then Anthony hit me. So he kind of cut me to the chase, which is good. So we had a small conversation about it, and it really raised my eyebrows based on what the capabilities of it would be. So I kind of wanted you guys to, be able to have the platform to discuss it. And I can ask more questions clearly about it for the audience. So how about you tell me, what is InPrep?
Well, it's an application that we have for what we call consultants and seekers. Consultants are people on there under a certain category, whatever they have a skill in. You can go on there as a seeker and find a consultant to teach you that trade. The consultant, of course, have their own price set on there. They pretty much just go from there. Anybody has a skill these days, so if you have that skill, you can teach that skill on the app, or you can learn a different skill as well.
So consultant versus seeker. So the way I understand it is that, and let's just consider myself, for example, I would be a consultant in media. So if I put myself registered on your app as a consultant, I would then be open to be contacted by the seeker, who is anyone who wanted to learn what it is that I could provide.
Absolutely.
And again, what interested me the most about it is that, I don't want to say it jokingly, but it reminds me of certain things like a Craigslist or what's the other one about construction? When someone needs to work on the house, and then you can actually just go into this area, type in what you need, and then you'll find everyone that's available to actually work on, contracting, right? It might be Amy's List or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I think you're referring to like Angie's List, of that nature.
Right.
But the cool thing about InPrep is pretty much anything that you know how to do. For instance, let's say that you're a plumber. What it does is it creates a lane for the people. Like, let's say that you learn a trade, right? You go to school, or you become certified to be a plumber. You may not have the experience to be a plumber, but you have the certifications to do it. So let's say that you've been in the game, 10, 15 years as a certified plumber. What you can do is you can teach that novice that's coming in the skills that he needs. And while you're teaching him the skills that he needs, you're actually getting paid for your knowledge. It's almost like being it's almost like an intern, but the intern kind of, instead of just sitting there for, hours or in doing the things that interns do, going to get coffee, you're actually learning the craft at a faster pace.
This makes sense. The idea that it reminded me of, though, when you said it, is that one of the things that I didn't do when I was going through my college section and learning my art is I didn't intern very often. Like, I did, but I didn't. I had to take paid internships just mainly because of life. I had a lot going on and I needed money. So I really didn't have the time, to sit with someone, right?
Right.
So that makes sense. You're right. It does create a lane in the sense of that opportunity happening more readily available than one person having to play gopher until they're called on.
Right. Exactly.
So what inspired y'all to do this?
In this world, and I say this all the time, and I don't like to demean the 9-to-5 everyday worker, because you got to work to get to where you need to be, but you have to have something that's your own. Quinton Ross, which is actually my cousin, he actually developed this, and I'm very proud of him because, he came out of a situation where at one point in time, he didn't even know how to type. And he taught himself how to do all of this stuff. He taught himself how to type. He taught himself how to code. But he came with the application, and me myself, I own a janitorial service here in Dallas, Texas, and I have crews all over the Metroplex. So I've always been business minded. So when he kind of came to me with the product, I told him that, hey man, we got something big, And then we've been knowing Anthony for a while, and just with his connections and everything that Anthony does. So we just decided to put it together and try to put a brand out there, so that we can kind of get in the game and change our family life, so that, our children don't have to work. This is a global thing. So this is potentially, and based off of the execution, if we do it just right, I mean, this could be big.
Working is okay. I mean, working is more than okay. Working is sustainable, because that's just a concept we've been doing since God knows when.
Right.
Owning is different. Owning becomes almost required now, because how else do you know how to create generational wealth if you don't have any equity and or rights? Let's asterisk Quinton is coding, and Quinton, is that self-taught or what?
Yeah, so I did teach myself how to code when I first started, but I also went to school as well. So I have my Bachelor of Science in Information Technology. I'm actually going for my Master's of System Engineering.
Number one, my platform doesn't focus on conventional concept of education more than anything else. It's the fact that if you are educated, it's worth talking about it within the general college consortium. But if you're not, it still means that you are making a way besides that convention, which should be highlighted too. Independent entrepreneurs, there's millionaires that have never gone to school because they learned the hard way. And, there's a lesson in that too. It's not for everybody. But I agree with you 100% though, that it should be focused on what will make sense for you in your future.
And that's one of the biggest things with InPrep. That's one of the reasons why we truly came together. Because there's such a huge gap in knowledge, skills, and stuff like that. And this is just really speaking back on to when we were explaining InPrep. That's what's so unique about us, because we are a new process. We do give you the opportunity to be a consultant or a seeker. So you don't have to just be one. You can toggle between both. So if you want to learn, you can. If you want to earn, you can. We don't want anyone to feel as if they can't continue their education or continue earning income. Because here's a big thing, and I'm really glad that Mark brought that up, especially with his being the novice as a janitor or having a janitorial business. But just take this for instance: if you do work a job for 30 years, whether or not that information that you obtained on that job is important to a doctor or somebody like that, somebody somewhere needs that information that you've gained over that job in 30 years.
Yeah.
And it happens all the time. And I'm gonna give you an example why I say that is because, say for instance, you work a job, they bring in someone new and you train them. They're basically paying you to share knowledge. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing applies. If you get on InPrep, you have this information. You were just say a call center representative. Some people don't know how to do that. Some people need to know how to do that. Some people want to cross into that platform. That may be the goal that they have at that time. Somebody just may need that information. And hey, you're here with 30 years of experience. Why not teach it? That's just one of the biggest things. Like information is truly not being passed. Like we don't have the resources, especially in our culture, to really get that information. And another example that I provided, take for instance, a single mother. She has a child and she doesn't understand the education system because maybe she didn't graduate college. So she doesn't know which path to take. Like if you actually go to school to become a doctor, that's going to be profitable for you. It's going to be hard work, but you don't know that path until someone guides you. And like I said, a single mother, if she chooses to go on the InPrep and say, hey, I want somebody to tell my son who's currently a doctor what path to take, what to look for, how to set his future in order for him to become a doctor, because she doesn't know.
Sure.
I mean, the possibilities on InPrep are endless. But that's one of the biggest things that we want people to understand. Like, you don't have to just only go as a consultant or a seeker. You can be both.
The two things, that you said that stand out the most through the group of you. Anthony describes it as the consultant or seeker. You said learn or earn. So, when you look at it that way, you should probably market that actually as your catchphrases. But looking at
we do have that as our tagline.
It actually is.
Well, hey, it rang to me, so I get it. It is good. You've created a system, and it's yours, that is available on all of the platforms for you to download. So now you essentially will have a library of both, which I think is, we haven't even talked about the numbers yet, but that in itself as a platform is pretty ingenious. Again, hadn't been done before. Seems that it is available now. And I would really hope that the platform takes off. How long has this been available?
We first launched to Apple and Android, both stores in September.
Coming up on your anniversary. Okay.
Yep. We've had some really good feedback on it, and but right now the biggest thing that we wanted to do is really be in a research phase to make sure that the application is more comparable for users. We want you to want to be on InPrep. One of the new features we added, just based on some feedback that we received, was having a blog feature on there, and that was just something that we just had a couple users send in some information, and they were just basically like, hey, it'll be really interesting if I'm able to just see what other people are discussing. Like, hey, I need a plumber in this area. And now you're a plumber. Instead of a seeker actually searching you can actually go and say, hey, I'm a plumber. We've made a lot of changes to the application since that time, but our biggest push we're doing for it is now.
So just in general, not necessarily about your business, but just in general, what do you feel is the benefit of a company coming out as beta, like in terms of that platform, like still needing development, but still open to the public in terms of use? Do you think that's a better way to get reception, or do you think a test market without it going public is the better way?
So me personally, being a tech person, I'm going to say being out and then researching and testing is always going to be the best option, because for one, it never stops. Facebook does updates every day. Sure. Google does updates every day. So this information, because people, you can't account for what users are going to do. And then you also, time changes. What's popular now may not be popular tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Somebody may not want a blog feature 2 weeks from now. Yeah. So you're going to always be in that phase. It never goes away, but you can't actually stop people from getting a feel for it. Like creating the demand, the desire for it. Like our platform is a tool. We're creating it for people to be able to use it and help themselves. So we don't want to limit it or stop users from being able to use this tool.
You're going to want that feedback, regardless of however it comes, negative, positive. You want your feedback because you want a real reaction of the product that you have. So then when you finally get it moving like a, well-oiled machine, it's a really good thing.
My question feels like it's antiquated now, because I remember a Windows version, right, that came out, but I also remember that what they said in the announcement was that this is going to be beta. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, just that was the last time a major corporation ever used that word. I think everything went beta after that, right?
Yeah, it's more of a testing and research phase. Yeah, because whenever you're in beta testing, that pretty much means that you're still trying to learn the product yourself, and not necessarily does that mean anything bad. Because everything needs to be tested, everything needs to be improved. Like I said, Facebook does you're gonna get a Facebook update every 2-3 days on your phone. I'm sure everybody see it. They're always improving something. There's always a new company that they're adding to their platform to make it better. A lot of people don't know Facebook bought Instagram, and that's how the integration between the two became available. Like now you can actually post on Instagram and Facebook, or you can sign in on Facebook and Instagram. Like that's how that integration happened. But that's because they were still testing. Like the product didn't go down. They didn't not put it out. They just continued to test and research.
Sure. To summarize with yours, and please correct me if I jump out of school, but this is a product in itself, app-based, downloadable on the two major platforms. as well as being in continuous product or user end research and review.
Yep.
Okay. So, and the reason why I wanted to encapsulate that is because, we've been talking for a few minutes. I just didn't want the audience to lose track of what it is that your brand does offer, because it's not a hard product that you would have to take down in order to improve. I mean, If you go back in the background, update that, send out another update for the app users, then no, I think that's excellent. You're right on par with everybody else. What are the developmental plans moving forward?
So now we do have additional changes that we're actually adding to the application to improve it even more, because we want this, although we're very unique, we want our application to be comparable to none. There's no other application or any other website that you would think about going to besides InPrep. And that's one of the biggest things that we're focusing on right now. Like we're doing unique testing to really improve the application and get the feedback that's going to be able to say, hey, I want to be on InPrep. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the biggest marks that we're trying to hit right now, is just being able to make our product to where it's comparable to none.
Okay. So with this particular product that you guys settled on debuting, it's open, it's public, was there any products before this that were essentially like test pilots before you launched this?
InPrep is something we've actually been working on about 2 years now. So it was in the development phase, a little bit over a year. And then once we actually launched it, now we're in that research and improvement phase. So.
Okay. Well, then what else would you like for the audience to know about InPrep?
Listen, if you're out there and you have a trade, it's something that you do, something that you're good at, this is a way for you to become an entrepreneur. You can go sign up on the application. As of right now, it's totally free to sign up for it. You can sign up, put your information on there, and you can start earning money immediately. This is going to be a great opportunity. You want to be one of those people that jump on the wave first.
You can definitely sign up now. Also, something you didn't mention, when the seeker is speaking with the consultant and signing up for their Skype call, or whether they can do it through chat, there is a $5 service fee after the seeker approves the consultant's fee, whatever the consultant's fee is. The seeker is able to approve that process before the payment actually goes through, and then InPrep is pretty much serviced a $5 fee. So that's another thing about the app as well. Like Mark said, sign up as soon as you can. You're able to learn or earn right now.
It's on both platforms. You can go to the application and really make the decision to whether you want to learn or earn. One of the biggest things I do want to mention right now is college students, because I'm a college student myself. Definitely, this is an opportunity for you college students, because now you have an opportunity to truly share information amongst each other. There's a lot of different platforms that may give you the opportunity to do it, but now you can truly set this amongst your own campus to where you can say, hey, I took this class, I can share this information, these notes, this information that I've gotten from the professor. I understand that test was very hard, but I can help you. Like, this is information you can share. But not only that, as a college student, earning income is always a problem. So here's another opportunity for that. So definitely feel free to download the application on Android or iOS, and enter your profile information and take off from there.
I really like this because I think that the door gets open for an opportunity, like you said, to learn or to earn. But when I hear you talking, I think about it from, at least from a college level. You could be a tutor, which can now be paid. You can be a consultant, which can now be paid, or even an advisor. And there's a difference between a consultant and an advisor. Now, what I also, in speaking with Anthony about, where you guys serve as a conduit, right? It means essentially a platform for everyone to be able to communicate. Clearly you have a service fee for it, right? It's your platform, but you don't have a vetting process per se for them. They have to be vetted themselves. So essentially it's going to require a profile as to who that person is. And then from there, the user or the seeker can then verify if that's the person that they want to speak with.
Yep. Definitely what's unique about it is we give everybody the opportunity to build themselves. Okay. You're rated, you're reviewed. So after each interaction, we get information from the seeker for us, for our benefits, like with them reviewing you. And then they also can leave you a review on your profile. So this is you building yourself. Not only are you able to take from start A to start Z, you can truly make yourself the most remarkable person on this application, which we also hold classes for certified InPrep users. We actually give certifications for it as well. People who are really thriving on InPrep. But not only that, we take this data as well. So we don't want people on here who aren't truly doing what they're saying they can do. If you say you're very good at one task, and then 12 seekers come to pay you and they really are looking for you to provide that information, we're getting that feedback, then we're also going to step in as well to make sure that you're able to provide the services that you're saying you can. I mean, because we don't want people to be able to say there's any type of swindling or anything like that on the application, which is why we have a very unique process when it comes down to the payment.
So you guys do serve as a moderator for that as well.
Yep. So say for instance, if you're a seeker, and we protect both sides, so seeker and consultant, before the process can actually start, before you do the job, we ensure that the seeker has the funds. We make sure that the payment is processed, but we don't release those funds until the seeker confirms your job has been completed. Then you can go in as the consultant and collect it. So we protect both parties.
To me, it seems that you've checked all the boxes in it being an appropriate and astute platform for everyone to equally benefit from.
I think also we're always open to feedback. So if those people go on those platforms, we want to hear your thoughts. We want to know what you like, what you don't like, what questions you have, just anything that can make the application better. We just need all that information.
InPrep, INPREP, and that is how to find you on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. What is the website address?
InPrepApp.com.
So InPrep app, INPREPAPP.com.
Correct.
Okay. Well, you didn't hear it here first, but you definitely heard it here on Qualify the Podcast. The gentlemen, Quinton Ross, Anthony Hawthorne, Marcus Evans, partnership, InPrep app, available on iOS as well as Apple. You can find more about me on Qualify the Podcast, as well as searching QLAFD on Google and all streaming platforms. This is Hassan, and I hope to hear from you soon.